frequency 90.7. I am Theresa Adeyemi. In the news, third day fidal prayer for former late president holding Daura today. COS urges communities to protect pipelines. Dangote moves to crash cooking gas. From the foreign scene, Trump gives Russia 50 days ultimatum to strike Ukraine peace deal. Sport. Plus fans protest over Conference League demotion. Now the news in details. The third day fidal prayer for former President Muhammadu Buhari, who died on July 13 in London, England, is to be held today in Daura, Katsina State. The prayer is a time for friends and relations to gather and pray for the forgiveness of the deceased saints and to seek blessings for the afterlife. The gathering will feature recitation of the Holy Quran, prayers, and sometimes charitable acts performed on behalf of the deceased. Buhari's death, which has elicited varied reactions from national and global leaders, has seen thousands of sympathizers troop to his private residence in Daura to witness a state funeral on Tuesday afternoon. President Bola Tinubu led a gathering of African leaders, high-ranking government officials, traditional rulers, political leaders, and citizens to pay final respect to the former country's leader when he was laid to rest on July 15. The federal government has disclosed that over 420 federal road, bridges, and other infrastructure projects have either been completed or significantly advanced under the administration of President Bola Tinubu within the 2 years already spent in office. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Works, Senator Barinada Nkpigi, made this known in a goodwill message delivered by his representative, Ali Emenike, at the opening ceremony of the 33rd Engineering Assembly organized by the Council for the Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria on Tuesday in Abuja. Teamed Advancing Quality Engineering Services and Businesses in Nigeria, Professionalism, Compliance and Remunerations, the annual event drew professionals from across the country to deliberate on engineering ethics, infrastructure standard, and national development. Nkpigi hailed engineers as indispensable drivers of Nigeria's development, noting that their work forms the backbone of the country's economic growth, infrastructure expansion, and industrial advancement. It was also declared that Nigerian engineers are not merely technical experts, but strategic nation builders who deserve a central role in policy making. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has urged Trans-Niger Pipeline (TNP) host communities to protect national assets located within their areas. Musa made the appeal at a monthly stakeholders meeting organized by Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited (PINL) in Port Harcourt. Represented by Navy Captain Lassie Ozove, it said the effect of oil bunkering and pipeline vandalisms are mostly borne by the host community themselves. He noted that the environmental and health risks from pipeline damage affect locals more than the oil companies operating in the region. These assets are on your land. You benefit from them, so you must protect them and safeguard yourselves from the hazards, he said. The Turkish government has raised concerns over the continued presence and activities of what it calls the Fethullah terrorist organization FETÖ in Nigeria, warning that the group poses a threat to national and international security. Mehmet Poroy, the Turkish ambassador's designate to Nigeria, issued the warning on Tuesday night in Abuja during a dinner hosted by the Turkish embassy to commemorate the country's Democracy and National Unity Day, an annual event marking the failed July 15, 2016 coup attempt in Turkey. The coup, which the Turkish government says was orchestrated by the Gulen movement, labeled FETÖ by Ankara, was thwarted by a public uprising and loyal security forces. The Turkish government continues to pursue a global crackdown on the group, which it accuses of attempting to overthrow the government of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. Speaking at the event, Ambassador Porras stated that despite international efforts, FETÖ remains active in various countries under the guise of educational, healthcare and humanitarian initiatives, including Nigeria. The Oluwo of Iwo, Oba Abdulrasheed Akombi, has expressed satisfaction with how the late Awujale of Ijebuland, Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetona, was buried in accordance with Islamic rite. Oba Adetona, whose passing was announced on Sunday, was buried the following day at his residence in Ijebu-Ode. He died at the age of 91. The interment process was conducted by Muslim clerics as security operatives, including soldiers, bear traditionalists and members of the Oshugbo cult from handling the burial. Speaking of the burial, Governor Dapo Abiodun disclosed that the monarch had indicated he should be buried according to Islamic rite. Reacting to the late traditional ruler's burial, Oluwo, in a statement by his press secretary, Ali Ibrahim, commended the Awujale and his families for setting a part of honor for Yoruba kings. The courage demonstrated by the late Adetona's family, Ogun State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, and the Attorney General of the state, Oluwashino Ogungbade, SAN, is commendable and a foundation blessing to restore the glory of Yoruba stews and its occupant, the governor, is true blue blood, as he said. Oba Abdulrasheed said no Yoruba monarch should be butchered like animals again, arguing that any town willing that his king be butchered after death should appoint an abbot, Oshugbo and Ogboni, as their king. In Kogi State, the Kogi State government has announced plans to conduct a biannual audit to assess internally generated revenue performance across the 21 local government areas in the state. The Auditor General for Local Government, Haji Yakubu Adegbenige, disclosed this on Tuesday during an appraisal meeting with chairmen, treasurers and directors of internal revenues of local government areas in Lokoja, the state capital. The aim of the biannual audit is to strengthen fiscal discipline at the local government level in the state. This is part of a routine performance review of financial activities of local government administrations for the year 2024. The forthcoming audit scheduled for the next 3 months will serve as a mid-year assessment to determine the level of progress made by the councils in improving revenue generation and blocking financial leakages. In Ogun State, the striking workers of Ogun State on Tuesday vowed not to sit down and talk with any government officials other than Governor Dapo Abiodun. The workers embarked on an indefinite strike on Tuesday over the unremitted 82 billion naira contributory pension deduction spanning 14 years. Addressing journalists at the Secretariat of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Ogun State Council at Okeilewo, Abeokuta, the Labour trade leader said the strike would continue until the governor called the Labour Union leaders for a fruitful meeting. They claimed that past meeting held with other government officials had brought no respite, adding that the issue under dispute was crucial to their survival and well-being. Here in Lagos, London Mayor Sadiq Khan is in Lagos, Nigeria, meeting with local creatives and tech entrepreneurs as part of a historic trade mission across Africa. The visit aims to spotlight the growing cultural and economic connections between the United Kingdom and Nigeria, particularly in the fast-evolving tech and creative industries. This is the fastest growing tech cluster in the world. London is the tech capital of Europe. Lagos is the tech capital of Africa, Khan said. The event brought together artists, designers, founders, and cultural leaders working at the crossroad of innovation and storytelling. Experts say the exchange between the two countries is rich in creativity and knowledge sharing. Still in Lagos, Lagos Federal High Court in Lagos on Tuesday morning discharged and acquitted former Ekiti State Governor, Mr. Ayodele Fayose, of all charges in his long-standing money laundering case brought against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC). The court upheld Fayoshe's no-case submission, effectively ruling that the prosecution failed to establish a prima facie case against him to warrant further defense. Fayoshe had been standing trial on allegations bordering on money laundering and fraud during his tenure as governor. However, after years of legal proceedings, the court found that the evidence presented by the EFCC was insufficient to sustain the charges. The Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) says it is investigating 79 suspected Ponzi schemes across the country. In a statement on Tuesday, the Commission said the outcome of the investigations would be disclosed once concluded. The regulator also announced plans to probe the operations of an entity identified as FF Tiffany. According to the SEC, the entity has been widely accused of operating a fraudulent investment scheme that has defrauded thousands of Nigerians both in the country and in the diaspora. The Commission said preliminary findings indicate that the scheme promised investors high and unrealistic returns, resulting in the loss of several billions of naira. SEC described the development as a serious threat to investors' confidence and the integrity of the financial system. The Dangote Group is set to reduce the price of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG), also known as cooking gas, in Nigeria. Aliko Dangote, the company's president, disclosed this at a recent tour of his refinery. According to him, the current price of cooking gas is expensive and unaffordable for many Nigerians who rely on firewood for cooking. Dangote plan to start direct sales to consumers has been met with resistance from existing distributors who argue that the move could undermine the industry and also claim that it is trying to monopolize the industry. In Ethiopia, more than 80 suspected members of the Islamic State group have been arrested across Ethiopia, state media said, claiming they intended to carry out a terror mission. The 82 individuals were trained in neighboring Somali Puntland region, according to state outlet Fana Media Corporation, which cited a statement from the National Intelligence and Security Service (NISS). Ethiopia shares a long border with Somalia, which for months has been experiencing a resurgence of attack by the Islamic Al-Shabaab group. Fana said late Tuesday the suspected Islamic State group members were identified and arrested but did not give any further details. In Angola, the Duke of Sussex met with the Angolan president on Tuesday during a surprise trip to raise awareness about the landmine cleaning charity that both he and his mother Dinah have championed. During the meeting, Angola's President João Lourenço reaffirmed the support for Alutrios that has cleared mines in Angola since 1994. The president expressed his intention to extend the contract with the organization for another 3 years, according to a statement by Alu CEO James Cowan. The UK charity gained global fame in 1997 when the late Princess Diana visited Angola to raise awareness about landmines as a patron of the organization. Prince Harry took up the patronage of Alu following his mother's passing. He recreated many of her famous photos during his first trip to the Angolan meatfields in 2019, including meeting 35-year-old landman survivor Santi Gika 2 decades after Dinah died. In United States, U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to impose sanctions on Russia if it fails to reach a peace deal with Ukraine in 50 days. Trump said Moscow's economy would be hit with 100% tariffs, while secondary sanctions on its trading partners would kick in. The U.S. president spoke a few days back and doubled down on his threat on Tuesday in a meeting with Mark Rutte, NATO Secretary General. Trump said he was very disappointed and unhappy with Vladimir Putin, the Russian leader, adding that he thought they had made deals about 4 times and yet they are still talking. Trump has been pushing to end the war in Ukraine since assuming office in January in an effort to fulfill the campaign promise he made repeatedly while seeking re-election. Still in the U.S., some United States lawmakers, including Republicans, are divided over the President Trump administration handling of the Jeffrey Epstein files, fueling partisan tensions over transparency and accountability. Elon Musk, Trump's former advisor and billionaire tech mogul, had in an X post accused the U.S. president of being in the Epstein files, claiming that was the real reason the files have not been released. Musk and Trump traded insult after the Tesla chief executive officer CEO left his role at the White House. Musk said he later regretted some of his comments. Most of the posts have not been deleted, but the effect of his assertion have lingered on in the U.S. Congress as lawmakers have begun to put pressure on Pam Bondi, Attorney General, to release Epstein client list. Talking sport, Juventus have lined up Nigerian international Rafael Onyedika as a replacement for Douglas Luiz. The Italian side prepare for major midfield changes ahead of the 2024-25 season. Luiz is close to an exit from Turin after just one season at Juventus, are working behind the scenes to secure a more cost-effectively and long-term solution in the middle of the pack, per report in Italy. Crystal Palace supporters have staged a protest against UEFA's decision to demote the club to the Conference League. On Tuesday, hundreds of fans marched to Palace Selhurst Park, round carrying banners and chanting. Carrying banners and chanting against European football's governing body. The Eagles, who qualified for the Europa League by winning the FA Cup in May, their first trophy, were demoted to the lower tier of UEFA competition after breaching multi-club ownership rules. Burna Boy apologizes for past Afrobeat criticism, clarifies intentions. The Grammy Award winner Damini Ebunugulu, popularly known as Burna Boy, has apologized and clarified his past remarks criticizing Afrobeat. Speaking on the official UK Afrobeat chat show with Eddie Cardi, the singer explained that his controversial comments were not meant to discredit the genre but to distinguish his unique sound of Afrofusion. He acknowledged that he once misunderstood the wider cultural and global impact of Afrobeat. Burna Boy added that his earlier statement suggesting the genre lyrical depth was misinterpreted and came from a narrow perspective. Now he recognizes Afrobeat as a powerful unifying force that has helped elevate Nigerian music on the world stage. And it's a wrap on Champion World News at 12, but before we go, a quick recap of our top stories. The Ifidal prayer for former President holds in Daura today. COS urges communities to protect pipelines. Dangote moves to crash cooking gas. From the front scene, we told you that Trump gives Russia 50 days ultimatum to strike Ukraine peace deal. And from the exciting world of sport, we informed you that Palace fans protest over Conference League demotion. And with that, we draw the curtain on Champion World News at 12. Don't forget to join us at 3 p.m. for our community news report in Pidgin, and also at 7 p.m. for our world news in Yoruba language. Many thanks for listening. I am Theresa Adeyemi. Good afternoon.